I've got a little friend who's wanting to get into my pork. Don Jaime, muy rico. Gracias. Muchas gracias. We're in Michoacan, Mexico, and we're here to eat.
We're taking you to the heart of the state's street food, indigenous food, all the food in this incredible state.
Michoacan's food culture is distinct, bold, and absolutely delicious. This is our second video from Michoacan, and we're eating some of the state's tastiest food. We start off with Michoacan's most famous food, carnitas. We travel to Quiroga, the heart of carnitas country, to eat succulent pork from the king of carnitas, devour a fruit salad on steroids, sample the state's enchiladas, and eat a dish which is the definition of ugly delicious. In this massive Mexico series, we're eating where the locals eat, and sharing with you some of the country's best food, from iconic street food to heritage recipes. You don't want to miss this series. Get ready for some mouth-watering food.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat. For this video, we're in the state of Michoacan and we're in the city of Morelia, which is the capital of the state. So most of the video is going to be all around this city. However, we are starting with this state's most famous dish, which is carnitas. And carnitas is, you'll get it all over the city. However, the town where it began and the town where the real heart of this dish is about 45 kilometers outside of town. So we're going to get a couple of buses to get to this much smaller country town to have some of the most incredible carnitas you've ever seen.
I'm so pumped about this video because we get to start it with carnitas. Carnitas is Michoacan's most famous food. Carnitas are pork which has been slow cooked in its own fat. And we thought if we're in Michoacan, we may as well make the effort to go into the heart of carnitas country, and that is to the little town of Quiroga. Quiroga is famous for its carnitas. These are the best carnitas in the world. We're actually right in town now, and we're standing in front of the plaza. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, something like 10 stalls lined up in front of the plaza, all selling carnitas. I am super excited to get into these carnitas. This stall that we've got on our list to visit is rammed with people. There's about 5 deep of people on either side of the stall. So there's not really a line as such. Everyone's just sort of crowded around the stall and then shuffling their way forward. I can see the carnitas and they look tender as anything. Muchas gracias. So I've been waiting in line and I got given a sample. Oh my gosh, so I've got this really fluffy warm tortilla, and then look at the meat, holy moly. So that's the pork, which has been slowly confit really. I've got a little friend who's wanting to get into my pork. So the carnitas is pork which is sort of slowly cooked in its own fat, so confit style really. All this little taste of the carnitas is done. It's just completely whet my appetite. I've got to get in for some more. Sí, gracias. It's really neat because everyone's lining up really patiently, but they're giving out samples to keep everyone happy. So everyone's just munching away and waiting for their turn. I managed to just put my order in, so I ordered 4 tacos. I've just been given a whole plate of carnitas. I ordered surtido, which is a mix of lean and fatty bits, and oh my goodness, look at that fatty bit of pork. I've got a few tortillas there, and then they've got a whole load of pickles and also some chili and some nopales, which is cactus, right up there, so you can just help yourself. I think I'm going to get some jalapenos and also some pickles. Alright, so I've got a huge jalapeno here, so I'm going to grab that. Might get a couple actually. Oh, bottom of the barrel, that was the last of it. And also some pickled onions and also some chilies. Oh, these are really going to be great. Oh, muy rico. Wow. Gracias. Oh my gosh, I just got given some more. So we were admiring a huge pile of carnitas that were there. And was sort of loitering about and then got given some more to add onto my pile. Look, I'm just gonna get into this. I'm not even gonna bother with the tortillas yet. I'm just gonna get a bit of this meat and also some of this fat here. Look at that. It is so gelatinous. All right. Unreal. Completely phenomenal. The meat is so tender. The fatty bit of skin that I ate was a little bit gelatinous. Holy moly, I can see why they have such a crowd of people. So this stall is super famous because they are a 5th generation family business. They do the whole process from start to finish. So they raise the pigs, they slaughter the pigs, they cook up their carnitas, and then they bring it out here to the plaza in Quiroga to sell. And this is such a cool atmosphere because people are yelling for everyone to come to their carnitas stand. People are tucking into the food on the street. It is wild and so worth coming to the heart of carnitas country in Michoacan to eat this famous food. So carnitas is slow cooked pork which is cooked in its own fat in these big copper pots. And you can get any cut of the pig that you like. So you can go for lean meat, you can go for the fatty meat, you can go for offal, you can even ask for uterus if you like. I go for the certeza, the mix of the fatty meat and also the lean meat. It is honestly melt in your mouth.
I want to find a nice fatty bit as well under here. Oh, look at that. So there's a nice bit of skin which they've all cut into the lovely shape to get all that fat in there when it's been cooking. And I'm going to have a little bit of the leaner meat with that. Oh my god. Oh, it's so juicy. It melts in your mouth. It's really salty as well, in a good way, so it's very well seasoned. I'm going to have some jalapeno to chase that. Whoa. Whoa. Yum. So pickled jalapeno. You often see them chopped, but those are the whole jalapenos. And that is a beautiful zing, nice little spice, and cuts through all that fat and the salt. So really nice balance between the fattiness, the saltiness, and the zinginess of that jalapeno. And look at this place. It is absolutely mad. And it's so interesting, like Sheena said, that all of the other stalls don't have a huge crowd. There's a crowd at some of the stalls, but this one is the one to eat at. It is absolutely going off.
This 5th generation family business has been around since 1898. That is so phenomenal. Muchas gracias, Don Jaime. Don Jaime es muy rico. Gracias, muchas gracias.
We're now back in the city of Morelia, so we jumped back on the bus, and I have to say how good it was going out to Quiroga to have the carnitas. So going to the home of that dish, and that was not an easy trip in the end. So it was about 40-45 kilometers to get there, and it took us 3 hours on 2 different buses. We got caught in the rain. It was crazy, but so worth it because they were unreal. But now we're back in Morelia, the sun is back out, and we are going to have gazpacho. Now gazpacho is not what I think of here when I think of gazpacho. I think of cold soup, but that is not the case here in Morelia. It is a crazy dish which you have just got to see. This thing is wild.
When you walk into this gazpacho shop, the smell hits you. Now gazpacho is all about fruit. You can see up here, there's a ton of chopped fruit. There's rock melon, honeydew, mango, all sorts. Let's go and order. Una normal litro, por favor.
¿Un litro?
Sí, gracias, con todo.
Sí.
Muchas gracias.
Queso,
Sí,
everything.
everything, con todo. So we ordered a liter of gazpacho. And we ordered it with everything. Now this is a crazy snack. Come around here and look at them chopping up all of the fruit. So there's papaya, there's pineapple, there's all sorts of melons, and the guys are gonna mix that all up with a ton of different ingredients. So he did mention cheese and he mentioned chili, so we'll see what else goes in. I can't get over the smell of the fresh fruit. It's like walking into a tropical paradise. It is so strong. And the guy's just preparing our one right now. So there's mango, there's pineapple, there's jicama, which is a Mexican turnip, I suppose. And then he's adding some cheese. Wow. Layers of cheese and fruit and hot sauce. This is so crazy. More chili powder, more fruit. Oh, look, the piece de resistance. Orange juice. Wow. Just chucking on some fresh lime juice. Mandatory in Mexico. Bit of salt. More cheese, why not? Oh, muchas gracias. Oh my gosh, this gazpacho weighs a ton. So a litre of fruit, cheese, chili sauce, powdered chili. It's gonna set us up for the day.
This gazpacho is totally nuts. So definitely not what I think of when I think of gazpacho, but this is a regional specialty here in Morelia. The shop we got this from has been around since 1970. It was a really neat place, buzzing with locals going in there and getting their gazpacho feast for the day. So we got a litre, so we've pretty much got a kilo here, which is incredibly heavy. Like, it's hurting my wrist to hold it up. So we've got all of that cheese on top, which is the most interesting ingredient, I think. But so cheese, it's a hard cow's cheese. We've got the chili sauce, the chili powder is the brown stuff, all of the liquid is orange juice, and then the fruit. So there were two versions. This is the traditional version. So there was a really colorful version which had things like papaya and watermelon in, but that's not the traditional one. So we went with the traditional, and it seemed that most people were ordering this style as well. I'm just gonna dive in. So we'll get some of that jicama. We've got the pineapple there and some mango, some cheese, some chili. Oh, that's good. Oh, spicy, salty. Oh, a perfect sweet, salty, spicy combo. It's all going on. That orange juice pulls it all together really nicely too. Look at this spoon, covered in all the good stuff. Oh, that is so good. It works so well. I love this sort of thing in Mexico, and in Asia you see it a lot. Fruits, often tropical style fruits, so nice sweet fruit with some sort of chili on them. Really common combination, works so well, and that added element of the creamy cheese with the salt in the cheese works a treat. Love it, really cool shop as well. So much going on, there's huge piles of fruit, looks so neat being cut up.
Morelia is a beautiful town to explore. There's stunning colonial architecture, really ornate churches. We're just passing through the Zocalo at the moment, the main square, and we're off to find our next street food. All along this stretch of road are a number of stalls that specialize in antojitos, which are small snacks. So we're going to pop into one of them and grab some enchiladas. So we have ordered one lot of enchiladas. The enchiladas placera here in Morelia are really special. They do them a certain way. And then we ordered 2 glasses of atole, which is one of our favorite things to drink here. It's a corn dough drink, and we got chocolate flavored. I love when you can get right up close and see your food being cooked. So she's cooking up our potatoes and carrots for the enchiladas placeras, and the smell is beautiful. Here's that guajillo chile. Wow. You can see the tortillas being fried up in the oil. She's actually dipped them in a guajillo chili sauce, and now she's crumbling some cheese and also some onions over it. The smell is just intoxicating. Can't wait to eat them. Oh, what a plate of food. So these enchiladas placeras are a Morelian specialty. So what they're made up of, you would have seen what she did was she grabbed these tortillas and she dipped them in a chili sauce. So a guajillo chili. and then she popped them into the oil. She sprinkled some cheese over the top. So the cheese is cotija cheese, and it's famous in Michoacan. It's a hard cow's milk cheese. And then there's a ton of cooked potatoes and carrots over the top. There's some lettuce, there's some fresh onion to add a bit of crunch and freshness, and then there's also some chicken. Get some of that cheese and the lettuce and the onion and potato and carrot. Okay. I love this type of food because it is just what it is. The flavors are what you're expecting, and they're just so delicious. The potato is smooth and creamy. The guajillo chili sauce, which the tortillas are dipped in, it's not that spicy. It's a tiny little tingle, but a really beautiful flavor. I really, really like the lettuce and the onion on there because they add a real freshness and zinginess. Time to get into this chicken. So I've got a drumstick as well as a wing. So, oh, it looks super tender. So grab a bit of the tortilla as well, the enchilada, stuff some lettuce over the top. The chicken is super tender, and I love the cheese. It adds a real saltiness to each mouthful. This is comfort food. Very, very satisfying. I'm washing down my enchiladas placera with a mug of atole. Atole is drunk often in the mornings, and it's really a warming drink. It's very hot, but it's beautiful. It's made out of masa, which is corn dough, and so it's got a really thick texture, almost gluggy, but in a nice way. And this is chocolate flavored. You can get all sorts of flavors. Chocolate flavor is also known as champorado. It's one of my favorites. Look at it. It's got a great texture. Wow. Something we haven't stopped eating whilst in Michoacan are paletas. Paletas are ice blocks, and these ice blocks are like nothing you've ever seen. They're ice blocks on steroids, absolutely packed chock full of fresh fruit. Now, you can find paletas all over Mexico. They're a very, very common street food, but we're filming them here in Michoacan because Michoacan is the home of the paleta. The reason we love this paleta shop is because their ice blocks are really jam-packed full of fruit. So you can get a milk version or a fruit version. So I'm always so indecisive because there are so many different delicious looking paletas. Ooh, una guanabana, por favor.
¿De guanábana?
Sí, gracias.
¿Le quita la envoltura?
Sí, gracias. Perfecto. Gracias. All right, I went with guanabana, which is soursop, and these paletas are just amazing because they're chock full of fruit, like I was saying. Muchas gracias, amiga. Hasta luego. And they're really, really nice and thick. So they have milk-based ones and also fruit-based ones. I find that the fruit-based ones are really refreshing. You can see here, it's even got the pits of the soursop. If you've never had soursop before, it tastes a little bit like apple and pear to me, and it's almost got like a fibrous, creamy texture. Really delicious and super refreshing because it's a little bit hot here today in Morelia.
Next up, we're gonna grab some regional food. Now, I've seen a photo of this dish and I've got to tell you, it's not the prettiest looking thing I've ever seen in my life. However, the restaurant we are getting it from, which is in this garage over here, in fact, this white doored garage, gets incredible reviews. Locals have told us this is the place to come and eat this regional food. So I am very much looking forward to trying out this dish here.
The dish that we're here to eat is called morisqueta. So it's a traditional dish of the state of Michoacan. It's made up of beans and rice, and I think we ordered it with pork. If I got my Spanish correctly, we ordered it with pork. So beans, rice, pork, and it's cooked with a tomato-based sauce. Should be really good.
We've got the morisqueta, and it totally lives up to expectations of these photos I saw. So it is definitely not the best looking dish in the world. So what I've got is some rice under here. I think there's some frijoles, you can just see it there. It's underneath this tomato sauce that's all over it. But so I think it's doused in frijoles and then doused in this tomato sauce. And I believe it's actually beef, not pork. So these chunks of meat on the bone. That's the entire dish. So I think this sums up quite a bit of what our channel is about actually. We're about just finding those really regional or local things, really getting to the heart of the food in the place we're visiting. So we're clearly not here because this is spectacular or clickbaity. It's just a plate of food. But it's a real specialty here, and this place is really interesting, this restaurant. So it's a garage, like I said it was. It's just a concrete floor with lines on the ground actually where cars can park, and it's very full. There's a lot of people here. They have quite a big menu, but everyone is eating this dish and this dish alone. So it's incredibly popular with the locals. Let's just dive in and get some rice covered in that sauce and frijoles first. Oh, yum. Oh, so that looks so bland, but it's not. It's got a really good chili, just real kick, really whacks you quickly with a sharp spice. A lot of tomato in there, so you've got sweetness and acidity from the tomato. I've got to try and rip into some of this beef, break that off. Oh, there we go, break a little bit off there. So we got some beef, just a whole lot of everything. Yeah, it's good. It's not incredibly tender or anything like that. It came away from the bone, but with a little bit of difficulty, but then it's not chewy. And it's just doused in all of that sauce, and the sauce is what makes this. It is so much better than it looks. I'm really glad we could... It is quite spicy. It builds and builds, it just jumped down my throat. I've dug into this meat a bit and had some by itself. I had a very small piece before, and the flavour of that sauce is very strong. So I couldn't actually taste the meat, but I've had some by itself. It's not beef at all, it's pork. So it's very nice pork. This dish can be made with beef or with pork, depending where you are, but that is definitely pork. It's just a perfect sort of homely feel to it. So a very nice dish to eat, and totally what we love to hunt down. And I really like this restaurant. It's quite neat, packed with locals, sitting in what is a garage, and everyone is just chowing into this dish pretty much, and it's great. It's very, very good, and really neat to have such a regional dish while we're here in Morelia. We're in Michoacan, Mexico.